Mr. Wilson, anything you want me to consider? Want to call your client or any witnesses?
I will let her speak to the court, but I'd like a minute to speak to the court too. As the court has outlined her score sheet, it's not her first contact with law enforcement. It's her first serious contact with law enforcement. She's been in a little bit of trouble before, but she's literally 1 point away from almost, again, the court has discretion, but almost requiring the court for probation. That's what we're asking for clearly, is that you put her on probation. But I want to answer more to the last hearing. And Your Honor, things got out of hand and I bear some responsibility for that. I knew things were going the wrong direction. What I should have done as her attorney is continue this case and have the conversation that I was able to have for her before this one, so that things didn't go like they did the last hearing. Ms. Fed came off looking not like the person she really is, because she got emotional and was clearly trying to get the court to do something they couldn't do, but I failed in explaining it to her. And she does bear, I'm not taking all the responsibility. She bears some responsibility, but there's some to go around. And I just apologize to the court for letting it go that far. And I asked the court not to let what happened the last time sway your opinion on this one. I don't believe you will, because I told Ms. Fed that you're a very fair judge and that you will sentence her based on the facts. I just want to put that on the record, and Ms. Fed does want to address you.
I don't think you did anything wrong, Mr. Wilson. You're an excellent attorney. You've been practicing for decades. I didn't
have to say that.
Well, we both have silver hair now, but I didn't know if Ms. Fed was generally didn't understand, or she wanted me to, like you explained, do something I could not legally do. But that will play no role whatsoever in my sentencing. And Ms. Fed, you have any witnesses you want to speak to the court before sentencing?
I would just like to say I genuinely didn't understand. I was not trying to argue or cause a scene or show, trying to put on for anyone. I'm just scared. I'm still scared. I'm very emotional, and I'm trying not to stand up here and cry in front of everybody and look how I mess. So it's just very hard for me to hold my composure up here and actually talk like an actual person. I do want to apologize because we did look a hot mess. I just wanted you to take into consideration I have 2 babies that are 1 and 2.
How old are your children?
They're 1 and 2. And I own up to my mistakes. I know it was wrong. Obviously, it was freaking wrong. I ran from the police. I know I deserve to be punished for it, but I don't want, to walk around for 3 years with an ankle monitor. Life's already hard enough, and I already, I'm okay with probation for up to 5 years or whatever, but I just don't want to be away from my kids either. That's the biggest thing.
Where were your children when you were running from the police?
They're in school.
They were in school?
In daycare.
Are you not employed?
I am about to be. I just got a new job. It was really off and on, but I work.
Where do you work?
I'm not employed right now. I just quit the dollar store about not even 2 weeks ago. I'm about to start at Hunt's and start bartending. So I do work. Me and their dad, that we both work. Every day. We're in their life every day. We take care of them every day.
They just drop them off at daycare and then flee from the police?
Yeah, it's happened honestly, almost just like that. I mean, we dropped him off. I went home, went back to get him from his apartment. Police were behind us. I went to my Mimi's house. We were about to go back home, and the police pulled right into the driveway. He got out and ran. I pulled off. He hopped back in, and I went. And obviously, it was wrong, but it happened so fast. It was like, what in the world, They're behind us. Why haven't they been turning the lights on us? They followed me all the way to my house, pulled in right into my driveway. I was like, it's just a weird situation.
If the police activate their lights, whether it's weird or not, you stop.
I would stop. I was stopped in my driveway. The problem is I was wrong for starting again.
Why did you flee?
Because I didn't want him to leave me and go to jail. Because he didn't do nothing wrong. He missed court and tried to come. I know that was wrong.
So you have messed up your life for a man. That's a yes?
That I'm currently trying to get away from, yeah.
He's the father of your children? That's a yes?
Yeah, both of them.
We have to have a record. That's why he's asking you to
Yes.
speak out loud.
Yep.
There's a napkin there in front of you. Want to wipe your tears? Anything else you want me to consider?
That's it. Only 22. My life hasn't even started yet. I've already messed up enough.
Well, being 22 means that you're an adult
Yep.
and that you are old enough to understand that your actions have consequences. I've sentenced people to prison that are a lot younger than 22. In fact, I believe I told you last time, someone with the same charge, high speed, reckless, running from the police in Port St. Joe, he's younger than you, I believe, is in prison. Ms. Smith, anything from the state?
Yes, sir, Judge. I would like to point out, first off, Judge, starting with the score sheet, one of the prior offenses on there that are scored in the prior record, Your Honor, I wanted to point out to the court that that involved the vehicle as well. There were minor children in that when Ms. Fed was using her vehicle to run another car off the road. Judge, that was the reckless driving and culpable negligence part. Judge, I believe that one of the children that was in the car was one at the time. We're talking about someone very young. So Judge, that is a history of using a vehicle to commit crimes, Your Honor. First of all, I'd like to point out that this occurred around 10:30 in the morning, Judge, and Ms. Fed and her actions caused great harm and safety issues to not only law enforcement that was chasing her, Judge, but to other in the public. Judge, she was driving over a van over 100 miles an hour down the streets of Port St. Joe. Cars were having to pull off the road, Judge. She was passing cars in no passing zones. It involved officers from the Port St. Joe Police Department as well as the Gulf County Sheriff's Office. And at one point, I believe it was Chief Richards had to actually block her from driving down Reed Avenue, which, as Your Honor knows, is the busiest and most congested street here in Port St. Joe during this chase, Your Honor. The state feels, Judge, that very strict punishment, as you're aware of our plea offer from the last time, Judge, at least an ankle monitor to help Ms. Fed and to protect members of the community, Your Honor. It is, once might not be a pattern, Judge, but two certainly is, Your Honor. And for those reasons, I just wanted to point those out to the court when you determine your sentence, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Wilson, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Fed, this is disappointing. I'll be honest with you. Driving 100 miles per hour, running from the police, and then you come to court and you start crying and tell me that you're 22 with 2 children. And then the state tells me that there's a past reckless driving, that you're running someone off the road and you had your children in the car. At some point, you're gonna have to grow up and take care of those children.
I'm ready to. All that.
You should have been ready when you had the first child. That changes your life.
I say that was over him acting stupid over him. And I'm done with that. I'm done with that, honestly. And I'm calm. I'm not fighting no more. I'm not getting out my character. I don't want to do that anymore. Honestly, true.
So you said the last case was also over your children's father?
It was him. We're playing with me.
You're gonna have to decide whether you want your children to be raised.
No, I'm trying to
Listen
find
to
my own
me.
place right
Listen
now.
to me. You have to decide whether you want your children to be raised by you,
Yep.
or do you want your children raised by someone else while you're in prison?
No.
You're gonna have to make that decision. And it sounds like you do what you want to with your relationships, But if you're in the same environment with the same people and it continues to lead you into this courtroom, there's going to come a day that somebody else is going to be raising your 2 children and you're going to be sitting in prison.
That's why I just,
When do you start work, ma'am?
Monday. I just dropped the papers back off yesterday.
What's your schedule?
I'm not sure yet. I literally quit my job at the dollar store because I was intent on bartending and serving this summer. I want some tip money. I want to be in a restaurant this summer. I just dropped the papers off yesterday. Supposed to start Monday. I had COVID this past week.
Who watches your children
My
when they're
kids
not
go
in
to
daycare?
daycare.
When they're not in daycare?
The only place my kids go other than with me in daycare is my Mimi's house where we used to live.
Your grandmother?
My grandmother, my sister, and my mama.
And they're available to watch your children if you're not able to?
That's it. That's my support system. Then.
All right, so what I'm gonna do, Ms. Fed, what you did was serious. You could have killed someone. Could have killed yourself. Could have killed some of the law enforcement officers. You could have killed some innocent citizens. You're just simply walking down Reed Avenue. I can't excuse your conduct simply because it was on behalf of your child's father. It's a serious case. You're gonna be adjudicated guilty of count 1. Fleeing or attempting to elude, high-speed reckless, that's a 2nd-degree felony. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sentence you to 18 months prison.
No, please don't.
I'm going to,
Please.
I'm gonna suspend that sentence. Listen to me.
Listen to what,
Pick your head up.
listen to what he's saying.
Pick your head up,
Listen,
Miss Fed.
listen.
Miss Fed, listen to me.
You turned your ears off, Miss Fed. Listen to him.
I know,
He suspended the sentence.
Miss Fed, pick your head up, ma'am. I'm going to suspend the sentence, okay? Do you understand that? If you're shaking your head, no. What that means is I'm suspending the sentence or I'm gonna probate the sentence. So you're gonna be placed on probation. And so long as you satisfy the terms and conditions of probation that I'm going to impose, you won't go to prison. If you violate your probation and the state can prove that you violate your probation, you're going to prison. So I'm gonna give you this chance that you told me you wanted. You said you're changing. You said you've grown up. You've had a change of heart.
Yes.
I'm going to take you at your word. So I'm going to sentence you to 18 months prison. I'm going to suspend that sentence. You're going to be placed on 5 years probation. Okay? You'll have court costs and fines, and I'll give you that amount in just a few moments. You have 100 hours of public service work. Your cost of supervision will be $20 per month. You must enter and complete a defensive driving school. You must also complete 6 consecutive weekends in the Gulf County Jail. That's starting today, okay?
What is that? Just weekends?
Yes, so starting today at 5 p.m. until Sunday at 5 p.m. And that's Eastern time. You're gonna be in jail. So give your sister, your mom, your grandma to watch the babies over the weekend because you're gonna be in jail. So you got 6 consecutive weekends in the Gulf County Jail. Once you leave the Gulf County Jail, you're gonna have 6 months of community control. Okay? And that's with the curfew. If you're working, you can get with probation officers and let them know what your schedule is. And Madam Clerk, what's the court costs and fines?
$1,008.
$1,008. And Ms. Fed, there are mandatory court costs I must impose. There are discretionary court costs I must impose. Do you want me to read off to you the discretionary court costs and fines, or do you waive my reading of those?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand? You understand the sentence I've imposed?
Yes, sir.
So
I'm happy with that.
You should be.
18 months prison. I'm going to suspend that sentence. You need to complete 5 years of probation. You need to complete 6 consecutive weekends in the Gulf County Jail starting today at 5 o'clock. Once you are released from the, I say 6 consecutive weekends, but once you complete that condition, you'll have 6 months of community control. And Madam Probation Officer, is that clear?
starts her CC technically on Monday. After she gets out of jail for this weekend.
No, once she completes the 6 consecutive weekends. No, because she's going to be out on the street during the week, so she'll start Monday. Correct. Okay.
So is that 6 months until followed by 5 years, or is it?
It's 5 years probation with the first 6 months on community control.
Judge, $20 a month cost of supervision.
$20 a month cost of supervision. You got 100 hours of public service work. You must complete and enter the defensive driving course. You must enroll in that within 30 days of today. You understand that? Count 2, resisting the officer without violence. I adjudicate you guilty. You've been sentenced to 1 day in the Gulf County Jail, given credit for 1 day in the Gulf County Jail. Count 3, possession of paraphernalia. I adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 1 day in the Gulf County Jail, and you'll be given credit for 1 day in the Gulf County Jail. Ms. Fed, if you violate your probation, you're going to prison. All right? You got 30 days from today to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, and if you cannot afford an attorney, won't be provided for you. Any other questions?
Your Honor, may we request a DNA sample due to the?
Yes, and it'll be a DNA sample, and you'll be fingerprinted.
And Judge, since Ms. Fed entered this plea, we would at this time move to consolidate case number 23 CF 100 into the 23 CF 99, Judge. And if the court is willing, and this isn't something I spoke to Mr. Wilson about, but could, as part of the plea on 23 CF 99, Your Honor, if the grandmother that's going to be watching the children is Deborah Williams, she was a victim of the CF 100 case, and we would ask for peaceful contact with her during the term of supervision, Your Honor.
I already have peaceful
Yeah,
contact.
that'll be ordered. I believe I ordered that peaceful contact in that case. So peaceful contact will continue with Deborah Williams as part of your probation, since she may be watching your children. I ordered that, I believe last year in that case. So peaceful contact will be a condition of your probation.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Fed, go ahead, Ms.
Just notify Ms. Fed, Your Honor, that the DHS&B may apply additional penalties.
And that is true. They may suspend your license. Ms. Fed, I hope I don't see you again.
Well, thank you.
Best of luck to you, ma'am.